Good morning, everybody. Coming to you live again from my living room. All right, so we're going to be working on day 9 today. We're going to get started with reading. So let's go ahead and get there. All right, there we go. All right, so today in reading, we're going to read the story Making a Difference. Think about ways in which you have made a difference in the world or someone's life. And then we're going to answer the questions at the bottom of the passage. Now, we're also going to be doing something with writing, dealing with the same kind of topic. So you want to make sure you're also keeping that in the back of your mind. So let's go ahead and go to the story, which is right here. All right, and just follow along as I read, Making a Difference. When I was in 7th grade last year, we had a special project. We were getting people to register to vote. I learned that it was so easy to register. I did not understand why more people did not register. It is a very important part of being an American. We learned in social studies that some countries do not allow people to vote. We learned that in US history, at some times, people have not been allowed to vote. Now, everyone who is 18 can vote. Our class decided to make a change in our community, so we made a plan to get people registered. We started with our own families. The school set up a voter registration day. It was part of the school's open house, so many people would be there. We made sure our parents were there and registered. We asked people why they had not registered before. Most people said they did not care much about it. My brother was 18. He was going to high school. I asked him if he was registered. The answer was no. I told him how important it was that he could come to the open house. He said he would do better than that. I did not know what he meant. My brother surprised me. He called the registrar's office. He was calling to find out where he could register, but he learned more. He found out he could be a volunteer registrar. He would have to go to a training session, then he would be able to help others get registered. So he went downtown. He registered as a voter, then he took the training. My brother talked with his high school social studies teacher. He said he wanted to help other students get registered. If you are 18, you can register to vote, but many 18-year-olds don't register. It could be that they don't know they can register. The teacher set up a voter registration table in the lunchroom. My brother sat there every day for a week. When students came in, if they were 18, they could go to register at his table. At the end of the week, 108 students had registered. My brother had done all that himself. All right, so let's take a look at our questions. So sequencing. So which event happened first? And then which event happened last? All right, so let's take a look at our passage. All right, now it starts off with our speaker or narrator telling us they were in 7th grade last year and they had a special project. They were getting people to register to vote. And she learned it was so easy to vote. Now, it goes along with what they learned in preparation for this project that, some countries still don't allow people to vote. And then in our history, not everyone was allowed to vote but now everyone who's 18 can vote. So the first thing they did, they decided to make a change in the community. They made a plan to get people registered. So the first thing, they made a plan to get people registered, and they started with their own families. So they made a plan. The school set up a voter registration day, and it was part of the school's open house. So people would be there. Made sure our parents were there, and they registered. We asked people who had not registered before. Most people said they did not care much about it. Okay. So the first thing they did, they made a plan to get people registered. All right. Then next, my brother was 18. Asked him if he was registered. No. So the next thing that her brother did, called the registrar's office. He learned more. He found he could be a volunteer registrar. You would have to go to a training session. So next thing he did was he went downtown, registered, took the training. Then he talked to his high school social studies teacher. All right. After he talked to his social studies teacher, they set up a registration table in the lunchroom. And at the end of the week, 108 students had registered. So the first thing that happened, they made a plan to get people registered to vote. And then lastly, the brother got 108 people registered to vote at his school. Bam. Done. All right, number 2. Character traits. Name one character. What is one trait you infer that character has? And explain why you think that. All right. So let's go back to our passage. Now we mainly talk about 2 characters in here. We have the narrator, and then we have the narrator's brother. Okay. Now it really talks about a lot about what the brother did. So if it were me doing this, I would choose the brother. Okay. Now let's talk about the brother for a second. What was he like? So we know he was 18. He was going to high school. We know he wasn't registered to vote. After he talked with his younger sibling, he decided he wanted to do something about that. And he went above and beyond. Now, he went above and beyond because not only did he register to vote, he went to a special training so that he could help register other people to vote. So how would you describe him? A couple words come to mind. One that really comes to mind is helpful, and the other one that comes to mind is hardworking. So for me, I would choose helpful because the older brother was very helpful. Okay? Because, and this is where we're going to get into what he did. Because not only did he register to vote himself, but he went to extra training to help others register to vote. All right, so he did that little extra to help others, and that to me just shouts that he is very helpful. All right, now explain why you think that. So we just did that. So the older brother was very helpful because not only did he register to vote himself, but he went to extra training to help others register to vote. There you go. All right, number 3, motive. What is something that person does? Why do you think that person does that? So we kind of already answered that already, the first part. Now, he went to extra training. The older brother went to extra training to help others register to vote. Now, why do you think that person does that? Why do you think the older brother did that? Go back to the passage. And let's think about this. This isn't a literal answer. This is, you got to infer this. You got to think about your background knowledge about what we already read, because the answer is not right in front of you. You got to think about it. Okay. So it all started with his younger sibling, who was in 7th grade, deciding to make a change and coming up with a plan to get people registered to vote. Okay. Now he's older. He's 18. He's in high school. They're in 7th grade. So he's the older brother. And older siblings tend to want to set a good example for their younger siblings, somebody to look up to. So not only he wasn't registered to vote, so he probably saw, this is me thinking now, I'm thinking he saw his younger sibling doing a lot to help the community, so he wanted to pitch in and help himself. So he went above and beyond, went to training, because he wanted to set a good example for his younger sibling. So the older brother saw his younger sibling doing a lot to help people, so he wanted to do the same and set a good example for them. All right, there you go. All right, number 4, summarize. Summarize the story in 4 sentences. 4 sentences. Now, I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but it really is. 4 sentences, that's like a short paragraph. All right, so you want to hit the main parts of this. Okay, now A lot of this can be left out. There's a couple points that you really want to make, like the younger sibling in 7th grade made up a plan to get people registered, and they started with their brother. And before long, the brother got registered to vote and then went to a training session to help others. And at the end of this little project, he got 108 students registered. All right. That's something you can say. And then the main idea. What do you think the main idea of the story is? Well, that's easy. Now, I'm going to leave 4 blank here because that's your summary. And then 5. What's the main idea of the story? So what does this person do? All right. So a lot of people weren't registered to vote or didn't know that you could register to vote at 18. So they just did a little bit of help, and look at all the people that they got registered to vote. I mean, the brother alone got 108 people in 1 week to register to vote, and he did that all by himself. So a little help goes a long way. Is a really good lesson to this story. Most people are registered to vote if they knew how to and knew how easy the process was. All right, all of these can be main ideas. So it's got to be in your own words. All right. So we're going to move on, all right, to writing. So you're going to write a fiction story about you or someone you know who has made a difference in the world or for someone. So now, if you can't think of any, or if nothing comes to mind right now, think about something that you want to do to help out somebody or make a difference. That's a really good place to start. Especially now, how could you help people? I know a lot of people are helping make masks for the healthcare workers. A lot of people are donating money or helping cook meals for people who need it. And all these are just ideas. So you're going to write a short fiction story about what you want, maybe what you want to do to help out. And short fiction story, like 5-6 sentences long, at least. If you want to go more, definitely. The more detail, the better. I always say that to my students about when they write a story. Okay. And then we're going to move on to math. All right. Now, before you even look at the diagram that I have drawn, we're going over the problem from yesterday that Miss Porsche introduced to you yesterday. And at the end, she said drawing a picture would be great for this. I couldn't agree more. All right. With this kind of problem, I'm a visual learner, so I drew a picture to help me solve this problem. Now, if you're not a visual learner, you just want to get straight to the point, I have another strategy that I'm going to show you after this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down so you guys can see the picture, okay? Now, I'm just going to leave it there, all right? Go ahead and pause it if you want to take some time to copy that down. So go ahead, click pause, copy it down, and we're going to move on when you hit play. All right. So our problem, the school cafeteria has 9 round tables and 3 rectangular tables. Each round table has 5 chairs, and each rectangular table has 7 chairs. How many chairs are there in all? All right, so I drew this picture. All right, don't laugh at my chairs. I know they're circles. Everybody knows Mr. Grant cannot draw for his life. All right, so we got our 9 tables, 9 round tables. We got our 3 rectangular tables, okay? So one thing that I'm going to do that helps me out, you don't have to do this, but it helps you out, go for it. So right here, we got 5, right? And then over here, we have 5. Over here, we have 5. All right, and you can keep going, writing 5, 5, 5, 5, go for it, okay? All right, now, and then over here, you got 7, 7, 7, 7. All right, now another way you could do that, and I'm going to show you in a little bit. All right, so we're going to move on. So 5, 5, 5, all 5 chairs, all 7 chairs, okay? So we're going to do, you can go ahead and you can count one by one, each one if you want to do that. You can go ahead and do that. However, an easier way to do that is just count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. We got 45 chairs. Okay. Now I told you I'm going to show you a different way how to do that. You can also use these circles. I'm going to hit undo because it's easier than erase. You can also use those to count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 31, 35. See, look at that. 40, and then 45. Okay, so we have 45 chairs in that section alone. Okay, so, and I already have it written down right there, so I'm going to save that for later. So right up here in our rectangular tables, we have 3 tables, 7 chairs in each. So right here, I'm going to write 7 because we have 7 tables. All right, so 7 plus another 7 is 14. And then 14 plus another 7 is 21. All right, so we have 45 chairs around the round tables. And we have 21 chairs around the rectangular tables. So we have 45, and then we have 21. Now, if we want to know how many tables there are in all, we're going to add. Okay, so 5 plus 1, 6. All right, and then 4 plus 2, that's 6 again. So it says we have 66 chairs. And don't forget, you need to label it because this is a word problem. You need a label. Okay, 66 chairs. Okay, so now if you did it this way, you can also use this way to check your work. Because every now and then we do miscount. As you can see, I almost made a mistake right here. All right, I almost put 31 instead of 35. All right, say I forgot to fix that and I did put 31. This next way is another way to help you solve the problem, and it's also a good way to help you check your answer. Okay, so we had 9 round tables and we had 3 rectangular tables. All right, 9 round tables had 5 chairs in each. The 3 rectangular tables had 7 chairs in each. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply both of those. All right, 9 times 5, as we did before, we knew that's 45, but say you forget, say you're doing this right off the bat. Count by 5s 9 times. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. All right, and then 3 times 7, that's just 7 plus 7 plus 7, and that equals 21. All right, and then you add both of those. Now, if you're like me, I do not like my addition problems and subtraction problems and all that good stuff going side to side. I don't like it. So I always rewrite it going up and down. 45 plus 21. 5 plus 1 is 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. And once again, don't forget your label. And the A looks like a U. There we go. 66 chairs. There you go. All right. And always take your time with math. Take your time, because if you rush, you tend to make silly mistakes. Okay. Now, I'm going to stop that for a second. And I am going to get over to our science part. And you don't want to see that because that's just the Zoom meeting. All right, so with science, it tells us that we are going to read both pages of The Secrets of the Clouds. All right, so there's page 1, there's page 2, and we're only going to answer questions 1 through 4, okay? So we're going to get to that after we read our passage. All right, Secrets of the Clouds. So what the clouds tell us. When you look up at the sky and all you see is endless gray, you can be pretty sure it's going to be a dull day with a good chance of rain or snow if it's the winter. Other clouds tell us a lot about the weather too. Will we have thunderstorms or will it be sunny? So what are clouds made of? Clouds are nothing but billions of tiny droplets of water formed around specks of dust in the air. If the air temperature is below freezing, the water crystallizes into ice. The water droplets or ice crystals are so small and light that they float, lifted gently on rising air currents. How do clouds form? Some days the sky is cloudless, nothing but blue sky. Then wisps of high white cirrus clouds may show. If they continue to build, the sky may become full of clouds. That's because these three things are happening at once. Water evaporates off the ocean or land, and the air becomes full of water vapor. 2, rising air currents lift the water vapor to areas that are cooler. Or 3, as the water vapor in the air cools, it condenses into water droplets or ice crystals around tiny specks of dust. You can now see all those droplets as a cloud. Remember, condensation is when a vapor cools and turns back into a liquid. Clouds are just huge clumps of condensing water vapor. Their different shapes depend on the air temperature, the humidity, how much water vapor is in the air, that's humidity, and how high up the cloud is. So right here we have the water cycle. Right here in the blue box. As the sun heats the earth, water from the ground, the oceans, and plants evaporates into the air as water vapor. Rising air currents carry it up, where it cools and condenses as water droplets in clouds. Droplets bump into each other, get larger, and eventually fall as rain, snow, or hail to complete the cycle. And here we go. There's the sun heating the earth, water evaporates and rises into the air, and clouds form from condensing water droplets. The droplets fall as precipitation. Precipitation, remember, is like, rain, snow, hail, that good stuff. All right. So 4 types of clouds to know. We got our cirrus clouds. Cirrus clouds are feathery. Leather, wow. Cirrus clouds are feathery. They look like feathers in the air. You'll usually see them on fair weather days. When they're thick and they indicate approaching rain or snow. Cumulus. These fluffy white clouds have flat bottoms. Watch them billow out, change shape, and sometimes disappear. They usually indicate fair weather. Stratus. Stratus clouds are smooth and gray. They cover the whole sky and black out direct sunlight. Expect light rain, drizzle, or snow with these. Then we have cumulonimbus. Sounds like an evil name, I know. Cumulonimbus. When cumulus clouds grow really big, they get darker on the bottom and spread at the top. Cumulonimbus is Latin for heap rain, so watch out for downpours, hail, lightning, high winds, and sometimes tornadoes. All right, now speak like a scientist? Water vapor, water in the form of a gas. So do you speak cloud? Experienced sailors and pilots can often look at a cloud and tell you what the weather will be just from glancing at the sky. You can do that too. Keep a cloud journal for a month. Start by recording the time, temperature, and date. Twice a day, write a description of the clouds. What color are they? What's their position in the sky? Are they high or low, thick or wispy? Do they just hang there, unmoving, or do they float quickly by? Some cirrus clouds can travel at a speedy 160 kilometers an hour. Yikes, that is fast. All right, so let's move down to our questions. Clouds in the Sky workshop. Now remember, we're only doing 1 through 4. Now, it says use the text or go to this website, weatherwizkids.com, and click on the weather link. Now, you have to do this for that. It says or go to, you need to go to it. Okay, so there's that link. If you have an online version, just go ahead and click it. If you have a paper copy, you can try to go ahead and type that in. All right. This just makes it a lot this website just makes it a lot easier to answer these questions. Okay, so when you go there, click on the weather link and then go to the clouds tab. So I'm going to go ahead and click it, and hopefully it will take us there. There we go. All right, Weather Whiz Kids, and then go to the weather tab, and then click clouds. And it should bring us there. Alrighty. I don't need a free writing tool. Okay. Now let's go back to our questions. Read the page to learn more about clouds. Be sure to click on the tabs listed on the left of the screen, cloud questions, cloud charts here to access even more information. And it says, right, 3 interesting facts that you learned about clouds. Now you can use the website here. I mean, these things they're riddled with tons of facts, okay? Or if you don't want to use the website for this question, you can go ahead and just go back to the passage. 3 interesting facts. There you go. A, B, and C. All right, number 2 says, go to the paragraph and picture titled, How is Fog Formed, under the Cloud Questions tab. So you need this website for this question. Summarize in your own words the most important points about fog forming. So we're going to go to Cloud Questions, and it's going to be right here, Cloud Questions, and then scroll all the way down to How is Fog Formed, right here. There are many different types of fog, but fog is mostly formed when southerly winds bring warm, moist air into a region, possibly ending a cold outbreak. As the warm, moist air flows over much colder soil or snow, dense fog often forms. Warm, moist air is cooled from below as it flows over a colder surface. The air is near saturation. Moisture will condense out of the cooled air and form fog. With light winds, the fog near the ground can become thick and reduce visibility to 0. All right, so our question, summarize in your own words the most important points about fog forming. So what's important here? Underline it, highlight it, all right? All right, number 3, use the Cloud Chart tab to name 2 examples of high clouds. So Cloud Charts. And it said 2 examples of high clouds. 2 examples of high clouds. There we go. High clouds. There you go. Cirrus, cirrostratus, cirrocumulus clouds. So just 2 of those. If you want to put all 3, put all 3. Go for it. And that's above 18,000 feet. That's over 3 miles up in the sky. All right. Those are pretty high clouds. All right. And number 4, use the cirrus clouds tab to describe one type of cirrus cloud. Now, those are high clouds, cirrus clouds, but they don't really give us an explanation for it. So go ahead to this tab right there, cirrus clouds. Bam, there you go. And then there's the 3 types. All you're going to do is just describe one type. So choose one, whichever one you choose. Cirrus, cirrostratus, cirrocumulus, choose one, doesn't matter. And please put it in your own words. Don't copy it word for word, because that's going to give you some help summarizing, okay? All right. Now, last thing. Do not forget. Now I'm just going up here real quick to show you if I can get there. All right. Now, don't forget. Visit Dreambox, play for at least 20 minutes. If you have trouble logging into Dreambox, please email your teacher. And don't forget your login and your password is your lunch number. All right, and then don't forget about your math game. Now, tomorrow is a work on your own day, so there will not be a video. Okay, stop share. And last thing, make sure you guys are staying safe. We miss you. Wash your hands. Stay safe. All right, don't have too much fun. Help your parents out around the house. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please email us. All right, other than that, been nice talking to you. Have a good rest of your day and work hard, study hard, stay safe. Take care, guys.